everyone. My name is Annie Jamshed. I am the founder and president of WiCyS Houston affiliate. I am very excited to join you all at WiCyS around the world. Before we get started today, I am going to introduce myself, followed by the introductions of the WiCyS Houston affiliate team. So starting with myself, I have been associated with WiCyS since 2018 after I attended its conference. I am also the founder of WiCyS student chapter at University of Houston, which is being led by the student leaders now. And I can tell you in one line that WiCyS changed my life. I am very fortunate that I learned about this organization when I was studying at University of Houston, because through this organization I have been able to meet amazing women who have helped me in so many ways, from mentoring to sharing knowledge and their experiences. And for me, there has been nothing more rewarding than knowing that the work that we do helps bring opportunities to women that are interested in cybersecurity or want to move up the ladder. So I'm really humbled, and I feel privileged to be part of this community that we have in Houston. For today, we have two very exciting webinars lined up for all of you. But before we kick those off, we are going to have short introduction from each WiCyS Houston affiliate leader. We hope that you enjoy today's session and the different sessions of WiCyS around the world.
Hi everyone, this is Abir Saad. I am the Vice President of Women in Cybersecurity's Houston affiliate. We formed just a couple months ago and have been excited to be part of such an amazing organization and working with people all around the world really to encourage women and minorities coming into cybersecurity. I myself am currently a incident response analyst at Chevron and am working to get my master's in cybersecurity as well. I've been part of just helping this mission of encouraging women in cybersecurity for a while. Even during school, during my bachelor's degree, I was part of the Women in Cybersecurity organization at U of H. And we did lots of good stuff, some social events, trainings, workshops. So excited to continue along at the Houston affiliate level. But yeah, looking forward to continuing with this organization, to continue with this affiliate and see what we can accomplish.
Hello everyone. Welcome to WiCyS Global. My name is Anmol Puri. I work as a cybersecurity analyst at Texas Comptroller of Public Accounts and intern at Advanced Computer Concepts Incorporated as well. I have been part of WiCyS community since 2018. I've served various leadership roles with WiCyS University of Houston student chapter, and now I'm serving as a treasurer at WiCyS Houston. I love to be a part of this amazing cohort that helps bring a strong cybersecurity workforce with gender equality. I encourage everyone in this session to join WiCyS and participate in their initiatives to promote opportunities to learn, share, and network. Thank you, and I hope you will enjoy the webinar.
Hello, this is Deniz Gürkan. I am a professor at the University of Houston Engineering Technology Department. I teach network security. I have been at the University of Houston for the last 16 years. Just recently, about 6 months ago, our president, Annie Jamshed, started WiCyS Houston affiliate, and I became a member by her invitation. I am the secretary in this organization, and I would like to say that this is a very dynamic group of women with different backgrounds and different aspirations in their careers. I bring some of the educational perspective, and my colleagues bring their perspectives from their industry experience, which is also diverse. Among us, we actually bring a lot of networking opportunity that is spanning industries and different approaches to cybersecurity issues. We have already created an event that launched our affiliate back in November with a panel of different members from the community. And we have been hosting emerging technologies series of webinars online through our organization as well. Check us out. You will see that we have diverse interests and a high technical background reach as well. And I would like to recommend that you become a member of the student affiliate to expand your network in cybersecurity. Thank you.
Hello everyone, my name is Aishwarya Girish Mandikal. I am an analytics engineer in Schlumberger. I got my bachelor's degree in computer science in India and master's degree in computer science in University of California. I am the marketing chair for WiCyS Houston affiliate. That is, I promote the affiliate and its events on social media. I am a proud member of WiCyS Houston affiliate because we are a committee of supportive women who are passionate about cybersecurity and loves to spread the message of cybersecurity to the outside world via events and webinars. So if you are a cybersecurity enthusiast who loves to learn more and be a part of a larger cybersecurity organization, you should definitely consider joining WiCyS Houston affiliate. Thank you.
Hi, everyone. This is Abir, and we have with us Anmol today. Anmol, if you want to say hi.
Hi everyone, this is Anmol.
We are from WiCyS Houston, and we are going to talk about user and entity behavior analytics, just a little bit about what it is, what it can be used for, and how it all works. So let's get started.
So what is UEBA? User behavior analytics was defined by Gartner in 2014 as a category of cybersecurity tools that analyze user behavior on networks and other systems and apply advanced analytics and machine learning to detect anomalies and malicious behavior. This can be used to discover security threats like malicious insiders and privileged account compromise, which traditional security tools cannot see. In 2015, Gartner updated its definition to include an E in the new category, User and Entity Behavior Analytics, UEBA, that includes behavioral analysis of entities other than users, such as routers, servers, and endpoints. UEBA is much more powerful because it can analyze behavior across multiple users, IT devices, and IP addresses to detect complex attacks. To put that in context, we have two categories of cybersecurity analytics tools. UEBA solutions are typically offered as either a packaged offerings or embedded in traditional security products, such as cloud access security brokers and identity governance and administration systems. They work by using live and historical data as well as machine learning to develop a baseline of standard activity from network users and other entities. Example, hosts, applications, data, network traffic. Once they establish this baseline, UEBA solutions apply a host of analytics methods, example, simple statistics, pattern matching, rules that leverage signatures, to look for anomalies in traffic patterns that indicate potentially suspicious or malicious activity. Whereas the NTA solutions use machine learning, advanced analytics, and rule-based detection to monitor and analyze all traffic or flow records on enterprise networks in order to identify a potential attack. This includes monitoring and analyzing north-south traffic that traverses the enterprise perimeter, as well as the east-west communications from network sensors.
Alrighty, so some of the benefits, while there's a lot of benefits of UEBA, we're going to talk about a couple of them just to kind of understand, why should we use a UEBA? So one of the biggest benefits of this tool is that it detects insider threats. And again, with this aspect that UEBA uses machine learning and algorithms and understanding what is normal and what is abnormal. So that really helps in detecting insider threats where users, they go out of the normal to do certain things or sabotage or conduct malicious activity, and really that helps us with UEBA. The next benefit is detecting changes in permissions or privilege. This is a huge thing. A lot of times attackers, they do come in and they try to escalate their privileges. They get a hold of an account that's, very privileged. They can do things with it, and understanding what's normal for an admin account versus what's abnormal. If there's an admin that comes in at certain times a day and does things, but logs out after, but then we see abnormal behavior coming in at certain times that are not what we usually notice, it's good to alert on that. And this helps reduce false positives too, because sometimes there is normal behavior that happens, but again, with rule-based and with just having the rules, we keep seeing that alert, and tuning it out is very hard to do too, because sometimes that might be the right breach, but when it comes to UEBA, it's trained to understand what is normal. And that really helps in understanding what true detections are versus false positives. And the same goes for detecting brute force attacks. A lot of times we see excessive logins coming in, and it could be brute force, but sometimes it's normal for certain environments, for certain users to generate that many logins because of some scripts they're using or any certain aspects like that. But with UEBA, it helps detect actual brute force attacks because it knows what's normal. If it knows that, hey, this user is going to generate this many alerts because of this thing, cool. But if we see something outside of that, it'll be like, hey, looks like someone's trying to get in. It also does other aspects like detecting abnormal downloads. So if a user normally doesn't download more than, let's say, 5 GB a day, and all of a sudden you see a huge file being downloaded, it'll alert and they'll say there's something whack going on here. Same with abnormal transactions. There's a lot of times where different transactions are being done that are normal, but then again, at some points, they could be completely malicious things going on. Another thing that UEBA helps with is understanding advanced persistent threats. And a lot of the times it's a lateral movement that APT actors do. And one of the benefits of UEBA is understanding and detecting lateral movements, right? From going from one place to another within the organization, and ultimately conducting the attack that's needed. One other benefit that we wanted to discuss was cloud and entity monitoring. So originally we had UBA, which was user behavior analytics, but now we have user and entity behavior analytics. And that plays a huge role, especially with how organizations are moving into cloud and different entities and Internet of Things, and really having some monitoring and detection of what's normal in these environments versus what something that's completely out of the ordinary is very important. And that's one of the benefits that we get from implementing a UEBA tool. Next slide, please. So why do we care about UEBA, right? I mean, we have so many tools we've already implemented in our organization, and what's this going to really do for us? So one of the things that we've noticed over time is that cyber attacks are becoming a lot more complex, right? They're not as easy as just coming in, hitting a signature and there you go, right? Like that's your attack. A lot of times attackers are being a lot more careful with how they're detected. And it's harder to find. It's harder to find these breaches going on. It's harder to understand what's happening. Like, why is this happening? And so with UEBA, it's a little easier in detecting stuff, right? Obviously, it's not a replacement for any of the tools, but it does help in understanding more of these complex attacks that are going on. And then another aspect is that with CM correlation rules, right? There are specific rules that have to be hit. And a lot of times there could be false positives, or a lot of times there could be false negatives, right? Where things are actually happening, but the specific rules aren't being hit. And so with UEBA, again, it's not rule-based, right? It's not signature-based, it's not rule-based. It's being trained to understand what is normal versus abnormal, which goes a long way in detecting aspects versus hitting certain rules. And a lot of these rule-based attackers have with them, right? So they're trying to find ways to get passed through. So this is one of the ideas that UEBA kind of stemmed from and why we really care about that. And then another aspect that UEBA kind of gives us is that it helps us save time, right? If it helps us go through all these detections and tell us, hey, these are the only ones that make sense, it helps us with understanding false positives, and it helps limiting the false positives based on the rule stuff that we've been working on, and really focus on on aspects that are changing in our environment. Next slide. All right. But of course, with every tool, there's also disadvantages and issues. No tool's perfect. With UEBA, one of the biggest issues is upfront cost is very costly. And so if the organization has the resources to implement a UEBA, go for it. But a lot of times there's prioritization of what tools need to be. And at times when there isn't enough resources, UEBA is not a prioritization. Because while it is very, very advantageous, it's not, it doesn't do much to protect in the sense it is detecting, but it doesn't replace all the other security solutions that are out there. So you have to be wary of the cost of UEBA. Another aspect is that UEBA can be very complex in configuration and understanding how it works. And so people that are working with it should be highly trained. And again, that's a lot with a lot of the tools where training is needed. But again, with this, especially with machine learning and algorithms, it is a little bit more heavy on the training aspect. Again, like discussed before, it's not a replacement for security solutions. So you can't just put a UEBA in and be like, our environment is secured. There's obviously a lot more that needs to be done in order to secure an environment. And with UEBA, it is a slow deployment. When you first put it in, it's not ready in just a day or two. With all the machine learning and the algorithms, there has to be training done to understand the environment. There's going to be a lot of configurations in the beginning, especially when UEBA doesn't know the environment yet, right? Versus 6 months down the line when it understands what's normal versus abnormal. So these are just things to watch out for when it comes to UEBA tools. Next slide.
All right. Let's see how does it work. So the true power of a UEBA solution is in its ability to cut across organizational boundaries, IT systems, and data sources, and analyze all the data for a specific user or entity. A UEBA should analyze as many data sources as possible. And some examples of these data sources are authentication systems like Active Directory, access systems like VPN and proxies, firewalls, intrusion detection and prevention systems, etc. UEBA solutions work by creating a baseline of behavior for users and entities. Data on normal behaviors and activities is collected and analyzed for patterns to create these baselines. UEBA tools then monitor the systems and use these baselines as a reference against which new data is compared. The creation of baselines is what enables UEBA to detect threats that traditional tools cannot, such as insider theft. When data that doesn't match the baseline is identified, it is classified with a risk score based on its deviation from the baseline. If activity meets a certain risk threshold, an alert is sent to the security team. In UEBA, a single abnormality is not enough for an incident to be escalated to analysts for review. Each behavioral abnormality discovered adds risk to the user. Once the user has enough points of risk within a specific period of time, that user is deemed to be notable or high risk. This approach reduces false positives because several abnormalities must occur before an analyst is alerted. So what does UEBA systems compromise of? Data collection is parsing and aggregating of security events via log data or agents installed on IT systems. Central storage is where raw data, metadata, and the results of analysis are stored. An analysis engine that analyzes events identifies anomalies and priorities and prioritizes them to pinpoint security incidents. And an automated response can integrate with any tool or IT system and perform automated actions in response to a security incident. All of this might sound similar to a SIEM platform, that is Security Information and Event Management Platform, but there are significant differences between the two. To understand that, let's see the next slide. Security information and event management, or SIEM, is the use of a complex set of tools and technologies that give us a comprehensive view of the security of any IT system. It makes use of data and event information, allowing you to see patterns and trends that are normal and alert you when they are anomalous. UEBA works the same way, only that it uses user and entity behavior information to come up with what's normal and what's not. SIEM, however, is rules-based, and advanced hackers can easily work around or evade these rules. What's more, SIEM rules are designed to immediately detect threats happening in real time, while advanced attacks are usually carried out over a span of months or years. UEBA, on the other hand, does not rely on rules. Instead, it uses risk scoring techniques and advanced algorithms, allowing it to detect anomalies over time. One of the best practices for IT security is to use both SIEM and UEBA to have better security and detection capabilities. Let's see what are some of the UEBA use cases. So there are insider threats. An insider threat can be a malicious insider or a compromised insider. There is incident prioritization to prevent alert fatigue, because we get a lot of alerts on a daily basis and we don't know if they are false positives, false negatives, or are true. So to prevent that, incident prioritization is really important. Then we have data loss prevention or data leakage prevention. And the last is IoT, that is Internet of Things. There are many products out there that uses UEBA, and there are some features that you should look out for before partnering with any of those systems. Data sources, which refers to the type of data the tool integrates with, included the supported file formats and type of log files. Then there are partnerships, which provide a measure of the tool's plug and play ability with existing infrastructure. Then we have time frame and degree of automation of baseline establishment, which relates to whether the tool establishes the baseline in an entirely automated and dynamic fashion or requires the user to tune and tweak it. Time to results refers to how quickly after initial integration the solution begins to produce actionable results. Then we have dashboard flexibility that concerns whether or not the UABA tool was designed with the assumption that the dashboard operator will be an InfoSec professional. The last is delivery mechanism. This refers to how the tool is delivered. That is, providers typically offer an on-premise version of the product, and vendors can also offer or are planning to offer a cloud-based version as well. But that might be a problem for some industries and some corporations, as data in the cloud is sometimes not safe and sometimes it is not acceptable to the policy of the organization. Next, we have technologies associated with UEBA. What does actually UEBA use at its core? Advanced analytics, which is the hallmark of UEBA tools, involves several modern technologies that can help identify abnormal behavior, even in the absence of known patterns. We have supervised machine learning that creates sets of known good behavior and known bad behavior, and that are fed into the system. The tool learns to analyze new behavior and determines if it is similar to the known good or known bad behavior set. Then we have Bayesian networks. These can combine supervised machine learning and rules to create behavioral profiles. Then we have unsupervised learning. The system learns normal behavior and is able to detect and alert on abnormal behavior. Reinforced or semi-supervised machine learning is a hybrid model where the basis is unsupervised learning, and actual alert resolutions are fed back into the system to allow fine-tuning of the model and reduce the signal-to-noise ratio. Deep learning enables virtual alert triage and investigation. Next, we have what is the future with UEBA? As we can see on the diagram, we are now facing mega attacks, the Gen 5 attacks. As cyber warfare gets bigger, bolder, and nastier, so does the search for counterpunching advanced threat prevention solutions. Among the plethora of offerings, there being a sustained buzz about user and entity behavior analytics tools. UABA turns the tables on the current generation of large-scale, multi-vector hyper attacks that use artificial intelligence and machine learning. By leveraging AI and ML to recognize, monitor, and correlate security events and incidents. Together with security information and event management, they are thwarting attacks that are becoming increasingly more sophisticated, diffused, and frequent.
So with UEBA's feature, Gartner predicts that by 2022, 95% of all UEBA deployments will be as features of broader security platforms instead of standalone products. And we've already started seeing that kind of happening, but it is in there in the future. It's just not as standalone as it was initially. It will be integrated. But with the evolving cyber threat landscape, ultimately UEBA will continue to come into play as a powerful tool to help detect threats. With our evolving cloud environments, our Internet of Things, users, I mean, insider threat is one of the biggest threats a company can face because there's already access within the company. I mean, and a lot of times between false positives, it's hard to detect a real attack. And with UEBA limiting that aspect and kind of telling us that, hey, no, look at this because this is really, really weird, it is definitely something that we should continue to look at as we move into the future with our tools in our cyber landscape. So with that, next slide. Here is a slide with some of the resources and references that we use to create this presentation. Feel free to look into it for more information as well. And with that, thank you so much for listening to our presentation. We hope you enjoyed. Feel free to reach out for any questions. Thank you.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you for listening to us. Hope you enjoyed the webinar. Thank you.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to our session today. Today, we are going to be presenting on automation and orchestration, which is a key to improve cybersecurity operation center efficiency. And this is going to be presented by myself and Aishwarya from Schlumberger. So, a quick introduction about us. My name is Annie Jimshed, and I am a cybersecurity operations center engineer at Schlumberger and a WiCyS Houston affiliate founder and president. My qualification includes having a bachelor degree in electrical engineering and a master degree in information system security. And I have CompTIA Security Plus certification. I'm also certified in GIAC Cyber Threat Intelligence. And I have already passed my CISM exam, just waiting for 2 more months of experience until I get fully certified. Aishwarya, would you like to introduce yourself?
Thank you, Annie. My name is Aishwarya Girish Mandikul, and I'm an analytics engineer at Schlumberger. My qualifications include bachelor's and master's in computer science from University of Southern California. I don't have a background in cybersecurity, but I became interested in it because of my previous role, which involved finding, creating, and automating security alerts for the SOC analysts. Back over to you, Annie.
Thank you, Aishwarya. Next slide, please. All right, so let's start off by talking a little bit about the evolution of incident response. In the early days, cyber attacks were mainly carried out by script kiddies to show off their hacking skills. At that time, the attacks were mainly responded to by the IT teams. There were no formal incident response processes or playbooks. Hence, IT teams mostly responded in the disaster recovery mode. Over time, as threats became more sophisticated with the attacks being carried out by nation state actors and organized criminals, it was clear that organizations needed to review their incident responsibilities and develop a formalized process through which they could identify, contain, and eradicate and recover from incidents. In the modern times, attackers are leveraging automation to carry out attacks. You don't have a threat actor scanning your network or sending out mass phishing emails manually. It is all based on script today and it is automated. This, plus if we look at the amount of alerts that we get in Security Operations Center, there's just no way that SOC analysts can deal with the alerts without proper orchestration and automation. That brings us to the topic of discussion for today. So this here is NIST Cybersecurity Framework. So for the formal incident response process within Schlumberger, we follow NIST Cybersecurity Framework, where we first identify the assets that we need to protect and tag them. Then we apply our security stack to these assets in order to gain better visibility, to prevent attacks, and also to be able to detect suspicious activity. This is followed by what we do in the Security Operations Center, which is detection and response to the suspicious activity, which I will go over in a little bit more detail in the next slide. So in this slide, what you see is the different phases an alert goes through and the steps that are automated throughout the process. Whenever we receive an alert from our security tools, we contextualize and enrich this alert with information in CM to help reduce the investigation time. And we are using our SOAR tool for orchestration and automation. The alerts that cannot be fully automated come to us for investigation, and we handle the mitigation part as well. And in the end, the remediation part is normally conducted by the operation groups at the different locations. So the mitigation and remediation part is also automated to the certain extent where possible. Next slide, please. Now, here I will discuss the type of alerts that we are getting in the Security Operations Center. Initially, as we started the Security Operations Center, we were working on two type of alerts. These alerts are split in two different categories, which is compliance and security. Compliance alerts help us ensure that the users are following the security standards and the guidelines that we have in place. And this include and are not limited to ensuring that patches are up to date on systems, endpoint security tools are installed for visibility, etc. The second alert type is security, which helps us monitor malicious and suspicious activity on system and on the network. These alerts are generated from multiple sources, such as MSSP, watch lists, custom rules, and so forth. But as we matured, we fully automated the compliance alerts, and we're now solely focused on the security ones. So, why automate and orchestrate, right? And what is required to take up this journey of automation and orchestration? So, start off by simplifying the process and the tools. It is often said that complexity is the enemy of cybersecurity, especially in large organizations. Start off by asking yourself the following questions. Which tools integrate well with other security tools in my environment? If there is a process that has 10 steps, can it be reduced to 3 or 4 steps? Are there any processes that are repetitious in nature? If so, then can I automate them? Also think of which assets, personnel, or functions do I care about more? If everything is important, nothing is important. So prioritize based on confidence, impact, and risk. So as we started to use automation and orchestration, our focus was to help the analysts reduce the time that it took them to gather additional information, to triage the alerts, hence improving the mean time to detect and mean time to respond to the investigations. And these are the metrics that we used to measure the effectiveness of the automation and orchestration. And from here, I will hand it over to Aishwarya.
Thank you, Annie. So, automation and orchestration is the intermediary process between the source of the security incidents, that is, the field operations or end users, and the destination of the incidents, that is, the security operations center, where the SOC analysts manually work on these incidents, which come in the form of alerts. The process begins with event collection, aggregation, and correlation using a SIM tool. SIM refers to Security Information and Event Management. We use it to aggregate relevant data from multiple sources in an organization such as host systems, applications, security devices like antivirus and firewalls. We also use SIM to identify deviations in the data from the norm using queries and machine learning algorithms, which identifies the security incidents and takes appropriate action to the security incidents by creating alerts and sending it to the SOC analysts to work on them. The next step in an automated incident response system would be to automate the processing of the alerts. This is done using a SOAR tool. SOAR is Security Orchestration, Automation, and Response Solution, which minimizes the manual redundant work that SOC analysts have to perform to resolve the security incidents. This is achieved using integration of various tools such as AWS, AD or LDAP, email clients, and creating automated workflows called playbooks, which performs tasks one after the other in the same way that a SOC analyst would perform manually. This automation saves a lot of time and effort from the analysts and also leads to faster alerting and incident resolution. So how do we design an automated response system? This slide gives you the high-level steps that we use to automate alert processing via our playbooks. It starts with identifying the tasks that we want to automate. This will include simple tasks that are manual and repetitive and hence time consuming. Then we evaluate the process that we go through to perform those tasks and all the possible use cases around it. This involves finding out the flow of tasks that the analysts follow manually from start to finish. Once we have the steps laid out, we create playbooks for the manual actions that are repetitive in nature, and the key here is to start small. Start by automating small tasks like sending an email, blocking a device, and allowing the analyst to select these tasks where needed. And the benefit of this is that these playbooks can be reused in other bigger playbooks. These are called nested playbooks. And of course, we hardly get things right the first time. So the next task is to take feedback, learn, and continue to improve. So this is the framework that we use for taking automated actions, which consists of three main phases. The first phase is identification. Identification is where we look for incidents that are duplicates, which are sometimes more than one alerts that are generated for the same activity. These alerts are then deduplicated, and previous incidents related to a specific device or activity that has been observed before are linked to help analysts understand how many times we have seen the same alert and what are the actions that were taken for this same alert in the past. Enrichment playbook is also part of this phase where the SOAR platform gathers the details related to the user, device, specific activity, and provides it upfront to make it easier for the analyst to move on to the next phase, which is the investigation phase. These details can be obtained from the orchestrated tools such as Active Directory, LDAP, and other host clients. So the second phase is the investigation or automation phase. This playbook is used to take automated actions based on predefined steps. Let me give you an example. We have an unmanaged infected device on the networks that needs to be blocked. In a normal scenario, we would need to go to a certain tool to block the device, send an email to the user, maybe inform the manager if necessary, create the request for the service desk to remediate the device. So it can easily take up to 30 minutes or more. With the automation, we don't see this kind of alerts at all. Based on the predefined playbooks, the SOAR platform will identify the device type, block it, and send an email, and then close the ticket all automatically. These mitigation actions can also be taken by the analysts for the devices that we cannot automatically block, which is what you see in the last phase. So the last phase is mainly for the SOC analysts to perform manually, which cannot be automated. So what are the benefits of SOAR that we have observed in our organization? The benefits include improved mean time for detection with better enrichment. What does this mean? So sometimes analysts spend a lot of time working on an incident only to later find out that they have already worked on the same incident and resolved it previously. Or there can be an instance where another SOC analyst has worked on the same incident and hence the time spent on it would be unproductive, which would lead which could have been utilized on more useful areas. Automation can prevent this unproductiveness by detecting the duplicates as soon as they are created and immediately linking it to the original and closing them. This way, the analyst can also know that it was a duplicate. The second benefit was reduced mean time to respond. So before SOAR, if an analyst received a security incident related to a device, then they had to manually look for the owner of the device in the organization with various methods, hunt them down and inform them about the malicious activity related to their device. This would require a significant amount of effort and man-hours to achieve, by which time the device could become more vulnerable to outside attacks. By the integration of various tools in a SOAR platform, which are able to correlate a device with its user, it is now easier to enrich an incident with the owner of the affected device so that they can immediately be informed and can properly protect their device. This is just one example of how SOAR increases the mean time to detect and respond. Another benefit is the integration with other tools. So this leads to improved enrichment of the alerts so the analyst can immediately know when they open the ticket about the device and all its related information. Another benefit is providing with visualization of the data, that is dashboards and report, so the analysts and the managers can know what's going on in their own environment, and it also can be used to detect steep increases or decreases in some values. So back to you, Annie.
All right, thank you, Aishwarya. We hope that our presentation was insightful for you. If you have any questions related to the presentation, if you want to connect with us, you can see the LinkedIn links to our profiles and the Twitter handles on the screen. You can also send us an email on WiCyS@WiCyS.org if you have any questions related to the WiCyS Houston affiliate. And we hope that you, again, enjoyed the presentation and enjoy the rest of the day with WiCyS around the world. Thank you.